Bit of a warning here, guys. If you are to buy a Mazda, it is worth considering whether or not you'll be able to get spare parts for your car, because we are looking at the next BlackBerry here. We're looking at the next Kodak. And realistically, maybe you don't care about having to fix your car, but I do. Personally, I wouldn't want to go and buy a new car and then realize I had an orphan car. You're in a situation there where you may not be able to fix it. You may not have any warranty. Mazda is very likely to be bankrupt very quickly. They don't sell very many cars worldwide. In fact, only about 1 million. And considering their future plans, this is almost certainly the next BlackBerry, the next Kodak, the next Nokia. You name it, that is Mazda. Mazda sells one electric car right now. It's called the MX-30. It has a 35 kilowatt hour battery. It's actually not cheap in Australia. It costs about 65. It costs as much as a Tesla Model 3. It has just over 100 miles of range, and it's been completely panned. In fact, over the past 12 months, Mazda has sold a tiny 5,830 of these electric cars. Therefore, Mazda has determined that no one wants electric cars. For a number of years, the CEO of BMW said that electric cars don't sell, no one wants them, they're not popular. He obviously ignored the success of, at the time, the Nissan Leaf and then the Tesla Model 3. He kept claiming this until about 2021. EVs don't sell. Reporters said to him, but how can you explain the fact that the Tesla Model 3 has more pre-orders than any other car in the history of mankind? He ignored them and he said, we know EVs won't sell because no one's buying the iX3 or the i3. That was a BMW EV that, well, no one was buying because it was so expensive and its performance and range were abysmal for the price. Mazda have seen what BMW said, thought, yeah, that makes sense. Let's repeat their comments. Now, the truth is, since then, BMW have massively increased EV production because they started to realize that actually EVs were selling. And BMW's EV sales since that time, since 2021, have actually grown by 300% worldwide. You would think maybe Mazda would have paid attention to what happened, to that mistake that BMW made. At least BMW have sort of learned that they were wrong. Mazda is just digging in their heels because they have a terrible electric car, the MX-30. Its range is minuscule for the price, and yet they claim because no one wants it. No one wants EVs. That's what they're saying. Other than Teslas, they say. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Welcome to the new subscribers. Great to have you. Welcome back, everyone else. Now, apparently, Mazda CEO has just come out and said no one wants EVs unless they are branded Tesla. This guy has not been paying attention to the automotive industry at all, which is truly bizarre. I mean, surely he would know that Mazda's sales in China have plummeted by around 50% this year because they don't have any compelling electric cars, and the Chinese want EVs. Same thing in Europe. They don't have any compelling EVs, and the Europeans want EVs. It's true. EV sales have actually increased by more than 50% this year in Europe, and of course, they've grown enormously in China. So the CEO of Mazda is saying EVs don't sell except Teslas, and that's because their EV doesn't sell. The CEO of Mazda is making electrification sound like some strange fad. He believes it won't work long term, but you got to keep this in mind though. He has to say this kind of thing because Mazda has committed to what? It's committed its entire future of its company. I'm telling you the honest truth here. That's why I'm saying Mazda will go bankrupt, and it's inevitable. They are unquestionably the next Kodak, BlackBerry, Nokia, whatever you want to call it. They are unquestionably that because they are committed to the perfection of the internal combustion engine. They've said this within the last 3 months. They've said this for years now, but they've said this within literally the last 3 months. They will invest all their resources, the primary percentage of their resources on perfecting the internal combustion engine. And what happens when you do that? We've seen what happens. You spend $2 billion and you improve efficiency by 2% with new technologies like dual injection, port injection, and direct injection. Combine those two technologies together and you'll get a 2% improvement in efficiency. Wow, amazing. And then, of course, EVs are 3 times as efficient as an internal combustion engine vehicle. You're looking at 90% versus 30%. So even if you do improve even if Mazda was to make the perfect internal combustion engine, even if they run it on hydrogen or something like that, you're still looking at a maximum theoretical efficiency of 36% compared to a maximum theoretical efficiency of EVs of about 95%. The difference is so enormous, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Mazda, I think, have just decided, well, we can't win. So let's just go down in flames. Let's just flame out and just, make a real story of ourselves. People can say, hey, don't become the next Mazda. They'll be remembered. I guess that's true. They will be remembered. And maybe we can make videos on them in the future saying, hey, look, the next Mazda. This company's going to go bankrupt. I don't know. Do you think that'll happen? I think it probably will. Anyway, here's what the quote from Mazda CEO said. EV is an absolutely important technology. But in the US, EVs last year were 6% of the market. This year, it is 8%. And out of that 8%, 57% was Tesla. Other EVs are not taking off. Inventory is piling up. Now, he went on to say of Mazda's timeline for developing a zero-emission portfolio, how we get to zero is up to consumer choice and social infrastructure. I mean, what does that mean? Mazda's internal combustion engine vehicles will never be zero, never be even remotely close to it. Anyway, there wasn't a whole lot more in the interview, but obviously, for some reason, Mazda, even though it's a Japanese company, it's clearly decided that it's going to hang its hat on the US auto market because Mazda, the thing is, they only sell about 1 million cars a year. It's actually quite a small car company. Any smaller than that, and you actually risk being in a position where you're not selling enough cars to make a profit on them. So the truth is here that now that Mazda has lost so much of its sales in China, it's, I think, given up on China and decided that it will become basically a United States-centric car company. I know you guys in Australia are probably saying, oh, Mazda's really popular here. That doesn't mean anything because the Australian car market is too small. We sell 1 million cars in Australia every year. The global car market is about 78 million cars, meaning we represent, 1.5% of the global car market? Not even that, less than 1.5%. We're just irrelevant for Mazda. Wouldn't matter if Mazda was the biggest selling car maker in Australia. We wouldn't save the car company. Just wouldn't be enough sales for them. So Mazda have hung their hat on the US car market, where now the majority of their sales exist or lie. But of course, the US now is in the same position as Europe. Europe is saying EV only 2035. Now you've got 10 states already, 10 states, including California, which is the 5th biggest car market in the world, 5th biggest, saying EV only 2035. What exactly will Mazda do in 2035? Well, I think they're going to go down in flames. Hey, got to give them some credit. It's going to be a glorious, burning, actually no, it's not. It's sad. Lots of good workers work at Mazda. I'm sure some of the best ones will find jobs. But unfortunately, because Mazda's EVs, or existing EV, is so bad, I can't really see other car makers saying, hey, you worked on the MX-30, brilliant, we'll hire you. I think car makers would say, you worked on the MX-30, yeah, no, we can easily get rid of that guy's CV from the list of people who applied for our jobs. It's like an easy way to rule someone out. They worked on something that was rubbish. And honestly, the company has no aspirations. Do its employees have aspirations? I'm sure they do. So realistically, I do feel sorry for the employees, and I feel sorry for a lot of the Japanese population because, unfortunately, this is representative of most Japanese automakers. They're really not that interested in change. They're stuck in their ways. They want to stick to what they do, and they don't want to change. But let me know what you think on this in the comments. Thank you for watching.